Alright guys, let's get rocking with spreadsheets. We're going to talk real quick about spreadsheets. What a spreadsheet is, it's basically a series of rows and columns that enable you to arrange data. It's an electronic spreadsheet software. We're going to use, for this class, we'll be using Microsoft Office Excel. And just to let you know, a definition of a spreadsheet is it is a piece of software that allows you to evaluate, calculate, manipulate, analyze, and present numeric data. On a test, you can bet I'm probably just going to put this is a type of software that allows you to manipulate and present numerical data. So that being said, I think we all know what a spreadsheet is, but it's made up of rows and columns. Just in case you're wondering, rows go this way just like church, columns go this way just like columns on a building, okay? So if I say row 2 column B, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Alright, let's see, we can get this, there we go. Okay, a spread, oh, there we go, okay. So rows and columns contain text, they can contain formulas, they can contain numbers, but all of this information is organized in a particular position. The Excel spreadsheet is a grid, so it is a worksheet. It's organized by rows and columns, as I said. But when those columns and rows intersect, where they intersect is called a cell. So if I say go to cell A1, then I'm going to know that it's going to be, I believe it's columns. I'm sorry, 1 is going to be the row, A is going to be the column. Where they intersect, that's going to be cell A1. So it's, and for reference, that's how that works. So the other thing that you can do with Excel spreadsheets is you can actually format and the spreadsheets and make them look really nice. It just helps you to organize your information a little better. We're going to do some exercises that allow you to do that. So there's a whole bunch of different variables and options when using Excel, but to elaborate this a little bit further, let me go into Excel. I'm going to go over some of the terms and things that you're going to need to know for our test, as well as just general knowledge about Excel. Alright, back, we're going to take a look at Microsoft itself, Microsoft Excel itself. I'm going to go through a couple terms just so that you're aware of what they mean, and you'll get more familiar with them in the next couple days. The first term is accessibility. Accessibility basically means the ability to change things, make it available. Maybe I wanted to make this font a little bigger, things like that. Usually a lot of these things are done under the home section, but I can change the size of the zoom, and this is my zoom bar down here, so I can change that up. There's a lot of things we can go into, but I just wanted you to know, I mean, you come in here, you can change the color, the background colors, things like that. These are all things that deal with a term called accessibility, the font size, all that type of stuff. Another thing you can do, obviously, is cut and paste. This is a little bit different than if you were just cutting and pasting out of Microsoft Word or something like that, because if I cut here, notice that I've got this spiraling thing, so I really haven't cut it yet until I paste it somewhere else. So if I want to move it over 2 places, I actually click there, and I can do it one of 2 ways. I can come here and say paste, or I can just simply hit enter on my keyboard, and then that moves it as well. So that's one way of doing cut and paste. We'll do some exercises that deal with that, but that was cut and paste. Now this is copy and paste, and it's simply the same thing. I just simply hit enter and it'll move it over. So there's another term called data filtering. Let me go ahead and put 122 back in here. So data filtering is usually everything is pretty self-explanatory. If I want to do data filtering, I click on the tab that says data, and then there's a button that says filter. So if I click right here, since this is my header of the column, if I click filter and say, you know what, let's sort these maybe largest to smallest, it changes the order of everything there. Okay, sort it back to smallest to largest. That's called data filtering. That's where you're able to change it up the way you want it to look. Now, this right here, I can actually hit delete, and what it will do, it says, hey, once you delete this cell, what do you want to do with everything around it? And so let me show you. If I do this right here, if I click I want to delete this cell, do I want to move these cells up after it's deleted, or do I want to shift everything over to the left after it's deleted? So if I actually say shift to the left, the only thing it should move should be this 124. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's what happened. So it just kind of deleted it, and what was here in B moved over here. There was nothing there, but you can see how 124. So if you delete one cell, you could basically rearrange a whole spreadsheet just by maybe accidentally deleting something or doing it on purpose. So what if I wanted to delete this whole row? Same thing, whole row's gone. So I'm going to hit Control Z. That actually takes me back one step. So another thing you can do here is clear the contents. So if I click there, it actually just erases everything that was in that cell, but it doesn't really give me those options to have everything move over one cell, because I'm not actually truly deleting it. All right, so now another thing you need to know, file management. This is called the back office. We've looked at this in Microsoft Word already, but it's very similar. The whole Microsoft Office suite does the same thing. This is where we would go in, we would do file save as, we would do file save, open new documents, all that type of stuff. So that is the file management section. The font section, obviously we've got the fonts that's under the home tab. We're going to spend a lot of our beginner time in the home tab here, but we could change those fonts, make them look different. You guys know how to do all this stuff. Y'all do this all the time. So let's see, formulas. That is something you definitely need to know about. If I want to total 122 plus 122, it's actually a pretty simple process up here. You see where this little E is? That means create a formula. So I'm going to click that one time. Now what I have to do is say I want this cell, which is A2. Notice it's A2. And then I'm going to hit the multiplication sign, which is the asterisk. So shift asterisk. So I'm going to multiply that times that. And I simply do that by clicking on it, and it would, if I wanted it to be C3, I could do it that way, but I'm going to just, for simple purposes, right here. And then once I've got my formula looking the way I want, I hit enter, and voila. And so I can change that up a whole bunch. Really, there's a lot of different options. We'll get into more of that later in the year. Let's say I wanted to make this money. I'd format that cell for money, currency, I believe is what they call it. So accounting format. So let's see, what else we got? Graphics. Can we do graphics here? Yeah, absolutely. We can simply post in pictures just like we do in Word. So if I wanted to insert that Joe Pa in there, there he is. He's all up in there. So we do that the same way. That's going to be it for today. We'll get into headers and footers and some of the other things that you can do once you're producing these Excel sheets, but it's probably enough for today. And take your notes, bring in a question. Hopefully you'll be able to find some sort of question throughout the process here, but make sure you bring in your notes so that you're good.